Okay, Sumaya, you can't, hold on a second. Everyone else can hear or not? I'm so sorry. This is the new program. People might need to click on the phone at the top of their screen where they log in. Okay, if you cannot hear, check out the home page or click on the phone. Sorry if there's any typos. Or call student services. Let's just put it in their corner because I want to get this webinar done for everybody. Okay? All right, so good luck, everybody. So anyway, as we were saying, we want to be able to put our best foot forward to attract the right job. My name is Andrea Sopko. I am an instructor here at CanScribe. All right, here we go. Learning objectives. One of the things we're going to learn in this webinar is to how to formulate and format those cover letters and resumes. You've already been practicing and probably have already passed that, but we're going to touch on it again. Understand how to prepare for interviews and discover confidence-building techniques to use before and during your interview. Before we get to the how-to, we need to understand the what. Many times we feel because we are being interviewed that we are lowly creatures with nothing to offer. Well, I like to tell people that if they are interviewing you, you have something they want, something the employer is interested in. So that should make you feel a little more important. Now, some of you are student members of AHDI, and if you go to the AHDI page, their login, their web page, the Association for Healthcare Documentation Integrity, you will see their opinions on full disclosure in transcription, whether it be compensation, which we will look at now. They believe that in any business relationship, both parties have the right to full and equal access to all information that is relevant to your job and necessary to maintaining an equitable business relationship. So you are just as responsible as they are for information. It should not be embarrassing to talk about your wage once you get to that part of your interview. You have the right. You need to know what happens if something goes wrong on a report when you're doing QA, or if you miss something, or if you have an error. You need to know how your pay will be affected. They also talk about rationale. In today's transcription marketplace and a dynamically evolving global economy, the demand for qualified MTs is higher than it has been at any time in our industry's history. Even though there's speech recognition and all these other items out there, we still need MTs. We have a mind, we have integrity, we are able to think and put things right. Parts of the principles of full disclosure involve definability. This explains to you, wherever you're having your job interview or you're thinking of working, the formulas, calculations, and methods they use at arriving at productivity results and how you should be compensated or paid. These should be easily defined and readily explained to the employee at the time the relationship is initiated, such that the MT is able to make a fully informed employment decision. You may be lucky, and I have had some practicum students who had 2 job offers going on at one time. Well, if you have definability and you know exactly in your pros and cons list, that will help you make your decision. Verifiability. The formulas, calculations, and methods when applied by the MT for the purpose of verifying productivity results and compensation figures. You should be able to come up with what your paycheck's going to be, and it should be the same as the paycheck, the numbers the company comes up with for you. Integrity. The compensation policies utilized should be fair and within the reasonable scope of industry trends and practices. You know, if so-and-so is paying X amount, then be sure you're getting in the ballpark with the other company you may be considering. Consistency. The formulas, calculations, and methods should not be changed arbitrarily but should be altered or changed only when necessary. This all means there should be no surprises. Application of principles. At the time of hire, and you begin your business relationship with the company, both parties should be proactive in ensuring a full explanation has been provided and understanding reached regarding the compensation policies and procedures. That means you have the right to ask these questions when you are at that point of the business relationship. No question is silly. No question should be taken as that's not your right to know. You need to play just as active a role as the employer by asking for necessary clarification on any issues. Now, I often tell people I was not a mathematician. So a lot of times when I worked at a company where I was paid per line, I was surprised by my paycheck because I did not keep track of what it should be. But if you are, if you can trust your company, you don't have to worry. But otherwise, you might want to take care and be sure you know what you are expecting to receive in your paycheck. At the time of hire and the business relationship begins, both parties should be proactive in ensuring a full explanation has been provided and an understanding reached regarding the compensation policies and procedures. The employer should not perceive full disclosure as an obligation only when asked by the transcriptionist. And you need to be sure you can ask any question you want. An employee who has full understanding of all compensation policies and procedures that will be applied to them will be less likely to be surprised by their application. And an example, somebody's making noise. Let me see if I can get somebody. You want to make sure that, let's say your paycheck is less, something happened with a report and with QA, that might be the reason why. I always like to say forewarned is forearmed, and that has to do with whether you're typing a new surgical report, you want to go out there and arm yourself with all the tools necessary to do a good job by finding sample reports. It also will help you be ready. I still hear somebody. Please make sure you're muted. Also, during your interview, knowledge is power. Know about this company, know about their platform, know about their practices, and then you're ready to have informed questions. This is a picture of where you can find a lot of this information at the AHDI website. Now it's time for the what. What jobs are out there? What type of reports do I want to do? What position should I apply for? What are my best skills? And what is the best time for a change? Now, not all people looking for jobs are just graduating from a transcription school. So they may be looking for other items. If you're wondering about new job opportunities, you have come to the right place. A lot of people are bored. They've been doing the same job for years and years and years, and they just can't take it anymore. Some people want something more exciting. Often during the interviews, and it's a good question to ask when you do have an interview, is there a chance for advancement within the company? What other jobs are available? And how would I go about getting to that point? And that will give you an employment pick-me-up. Do you want the adventure of a challenge? Sometimes, we're so comfortable in what we're doing that it does become like a daily grind, and a challenge might be a good thing. It might pick you right up. How do you know what is out there for you? Now, CanScribe has their page, their job at the forum, job postings. You can go to Indeed.ca for Canada. You can Google medical transcription jobs, and we have some other places that you can look. Do your research. One of the websites I found was at the U.S. Department of Labor, and there's the HTTPS. Now, this may show jobs that are national or international, and a lot of people worry, is there really a need for medical transcriptionists? Well, when I went to this website, I found out that yes, there are. They found 809 occupations with openings in the United States when I made this screenshot. There's a lot of information here, and you can take time to look at this screenshot. to see if it helps you. Once you're here, you can search for different things. You can put in medical transcriptionist. I think one of the times when I put it in, I received secretaries and administrative assistants, which you can see at the bottom down there. Should you invest your time in future medical transcription? Well, this company definitely thinks so. New job opportunities are very likely in the future. This occupation is projected to have large numbers of openings. And then you can see where it says find job openings. Utilize the search box. Like I mentioned, you can see up there under your search medical transcription. American Job Centers, like I said, this is just an example. There may be something in Canada that, has something like this for you. It describes what the medical transcriptionist does. They transcribe medical reports by physicians and other healthcare practitioners, looking for a job, looking for more information. There are the salaries that you might expect. All right. So you can also do online searches. The career section of AHDI has an online search. They show you what jobs they have posted. I'm going to find who's not muted. Hold on, I apologize. Okay. I think some people may have, okay, there we go. Google, search for medical transcription jobs. Lori says, any Australian job boards? Well, Aussie Scribe, but I'm not sure if they were hiring anymore. And then there was NTS. I think that was a Kathy. I can't think of her last name right now. So go ahead. Google is like your window to the world. Google for medical transcription jobs. Try Googling for medical transcription jobs in Australia and see what happens. You can also do Medical Transcription Networking Corner on Facebook. There is a link called MT Stars. There used to be a link called MT Jobs, but that was down when I was doing this, and I don't know if it's come back up yet. So we were looking at Career One Stop, Indeed.com or Indeed.ca for Canada, and Glassdoor. That's another place that has a lot of job postings. Here's what it looks like when you go to MT Stars on the left here. When you Google MT Stars, you will see the screenshot on the left. And then you can go to medical transcription jobs. On the right is what you see. More information, transcription jobs, a resume bank, main boards, company boards. You can find out what other MTs have to say about specific companies. There's a lot of information there. AHDI, like I said, they have job postings, and when you log into the website, you can see where it says AHDI Career Connection, and we'll see if they have any jobs there. This is what I found the day I did this. On the left, you can see there was one job, an intake analyst at UCLA Health. Now, if they have any medical transcription jobs, they will be posted. I just want your eyes to get used to what you might see when you go there. Under the Your Career section, and it says Jobs on the left. Once we click on the job, it explains to us what it is. It's to work with a project sponsor to define the high-level project requirements and scope of the project. I'm on the bottom, on the right-hand side, working with application vendors and so on. So we know this is not a medical transcription job, but I wanted you to see what it looks like when you click on the jobs that are out there. Here again, there's more information about the job, when it was posted, where it was posted, that the salary is open, and more information for you to peruse. The nice thing is you can complete the application right online here. And a lot of times they'll have you download your resume as well. Now, don't forget word of mouth. Oh, I have a question. I see. Hold on a second. Oh, that was Lori. We already talked about that. Okay, thanks for whoever muted themselves. So word of mouth. If you have other friends that went to CanScribe, if you know other people in the industry, if you know people that are in some other industry, They might, be sure you're out there doing your networking and your word of mouth. By, using your friends, your old job mates, whoever, you might find out where there is an opening and it might be just the right thing for you. Old colleagues, someone you worked with before. I keep in touch with people where I worked at a hospital for 10.5 years. You might find out that the hospital has sent employees home. They let MTs work from home now, and then that might be the perfect position for you if you're looking for the flexibility of working at home. Okay, so here's what happened. One of the things I found when I Googled medical transcription jobs. Now, I live in Hobart, Indiana, so I don't know, it put jobs up there near Hobart Township. And then it showed the different kind of jobs that I might be interested in. Okay, so here's another one, social media. Like we said, there's that place, there's a Facebook networking page. You might Google medical transcription jobs in Facebook. I am not really up to all that other social media. I don't know anything about tweeting or Twitter or whatever it is. But, it's all out there. Use it to your advantage. Just beware. Don't put your information out there to people. You get the information. One thing I learned when I was a legal secretary is that people can ask you all sorts of questions, but you really don't have to answer. And be sure to protect your privacy and don't trust a lot of things you see out there until you can verify them. Okay? On the right, you can see what people found through that medical transcription page, I think from Facebook. Your medical transcription school CanScribe. Ask them about job placement assistance. Often, they are in close contact with employers, and we know that because Carolyn and the Student Services always post jobs that they've been notified of. Remember to network with your current and former students that you have gone to school with or you knew and have met while taking your courses. Your school most likely has a student forum, there we go, where you can compare job opportunity notes. And I have seen people ask, has anyone heard about this company or that company? What was your experience? You might want to find all of that out before you make a commitment. Ask your instructors for advice and recommendations. I have practicum students who've asked me if I would recommend them, and I was happy to do so. And, if you have questions, how do I make a choice? Your instructor, your practicum supervisor may have some good answers for you when you need to come down to, apples and oranges and compare. Here are some of the employment partners that work with CanScribe. iMedix, Nuance, M-Modal. Remember, that's the Fluency people, the Fluency platform. Athrion, SwiftCharts, Terranova. I have a practicum student that was just hired there. Congrats to her. And some of these other ones you can see, Kaiser Solutions. Now what? If you have found something that piques your interest, see what they require of you for the next step. Some may want you to fill out an application on their website. Some may want you to send in your resume and cover letter. Some may want you to paste your resume and or cover letter into their application page. And we saw that at the AHDI screenshots. Cover letters. Some people say this is what they hate the most, but the more I have worked with these, they're sort of fun. Because if you feel in control, you can say things like, I was so excited to see your job opening. I have been looking for this, just the job you have open. Sort of have fun with it. Formatting your cover letter. This is a way to tell them what is your story. A cover letter is included with your resume. Consider it an introduction to your prospective employer. This is where you sell your skills and show your interest in the position. Highlight achievements that make you an ideal candidate for the job. Always send a cover letter with your resume unless the job listing specifically says not to do so. Do not use the same cover letter for each job. Target your letter for each position. At one point I was looking for a QA position, but then I saw a medical transcription position open, so I had to be sure that I changed my verbiage and made sure I wasn't looking for one when I was applying for the other. Now, we tell you not to repeat your resume, but you can put something in there that says, I'm so excited to see this opening. I am a recent graduate, and this job fits my skill set perfectly. I excelled in this, that, and the other. I know your company has a wonderful reputation, and I would love to be aligned with you. Please be sure to, I would be happy to have an interview. You can reach me at the phone number or email address above. I thank you for your time. So, your cover letter should include your contact information at the top. It should be in block format unless you're using a heading, and then you would want your heading to match the same on your resume. Then you would put the date, then the employer contact information in stacked format. So it would be 123 Transcription Company, next line ABC Road, next line Disneyland, California, and so on. Then if you do have a job title or posting number, you want to put that under the RE section. The salutation would be Dear Miss or Mr. if they have provided the name, or To Whom It May Concern, and capitalize every first letter of To Whom It May Concern, or Dear Hiring Manager and capitalize every first letter of that term. In the first paragraph, you want to say why you're writing, that you're happy and excited. The middle paragraph, you should mention what you've heard about the company. Everyone wants to hear nice things. Then you can discuss what you have to offer. You know, if your typing speed is great or if your research capabilities are fantastic, that will be a good place to put it. But like I said before, be your own advocate in your cover letter. Pretend you're writing it for your friend and see what you would do. That might make it easier. And then, you know, because it's easier to brag about somebody else maybe than yourself. Let them know you would be an excellent employee and a good fit and a great candidate. What can you do for them? And as I said before, interpret your resume, don't repeat it. Excuse me. In the final paragraph, thank them for their time and for considering you. Let them know how they can contact you. And then your complimentary close, whatever you're comfortable with, and your signature line. If you are enclosing a resume, be sure you mention it. Cover letter spacing. Leave a blank line between your address and the date, 2 returns. Leave a blank line between the heading and the salutation, that would be 2 returns. Leave a blank line between each paragraph. Single space your paragraphs in the cover letter or email message. Leave a blank line between the final paragraph and your closing. Now, what it means by the email message, if you're applying online, your email will be your cover letter, and then you would attach your resume. So it should look like the cover letter formatting. This tells you about blank lines between the closing and your signature. When you're sending a typed letter, include a handwritten signature and a typed signature underneath it. When you're sending an email message, leave a space after your signature with contact information if you want. If your email signature is formatted, use this for your contact information. Your cover letter should be 1 page or less. Use a 10 or 12-point font that is easy to read. Don't do any scrolly, curly, Desdemona, Chiller, anything fancy like that. Align your cover letter to the left. In Microsoft Word, select your letter and click on Align Text Left. Format an email cover letter as you would a traditional letter with spaces in between each paragraph and your signature. And this www.thebalancecareers.com has a lot of good tips for cover letters and resumes. The cover letter is now the email, as I just mentioned. Type your cover letter in your email and attach that resume and you're good to go. Forbes.com says avoid focusing too much on yourself. The company you're applying to is hiring because they need someone to do something for them. Avoid sharing all the details of every single job you've ever had. We suggest you go back maybe 10 years. Avoid writing about something uncomfortable. You don't want to tell them you were arrested and sent to jail, or that you were fired from a previous job, but you know you can do better now. Oh my goodness. Don't write a novel in your email. Don't rehash your resume. Don't be too trite or flippant. Don't act like you're a super fan of the company, but you can, say you're impressed with them. And for Pete's sake, look out for typos. Email cover letter sample. Here's an example for you. Medical transcription position and your name. Dear hiring manager, I was happy to see your posting of the medical transcription position in MT Stars and am submitting my resume in regard to same. As a seasoned MT, I feel my qualifications match very closely with the qualities you are looking for in a candidate. Producing quality reports, maintaining an overall QA score of 99% is one of my main attributes, and I feel that closely aligns with what you are seeking in a new employee. And I see a comma error. I should have put a comma in front of the word and. Oh no, yes. Your company is known for being conscientious with its clients and its employees, and I appreciate that so much. In keeping with my high QA scores, I also bring over 10 years of acute care experience, an ear for ESL dictators, and a willingness to learn. My communication skills are excellent, and I am a team player as well as an independent worker. I do feel my broad experience and range of skills make me a superior candidate for this position. My resume, which attached, provides additional information on my background and qualifications. I look forward to hearing from you as soon as possible to arrange a time for an interview, and I can be reached at the contact information provided. Thank you for your time and consideration, Paul Jones. And on this one, he put his phone number and email address underneath. I'm ready to hire this person without even looking at his resume. An invited cover letter is used when responding to an ad or other listing. Describe how your qualifications meet the needs of the position. A cold contact cover letter is used to contact employees who have not advertised or published job openings. So you might know you always wanted to work for this company, but you haven't seen that they're posting any openings. They just might hire you based on your resume and your skills. A referral cover letter is used if you've been referred to a job through your networking, informational interviews, or contact with employers. So if somebody says, hey, I'm going to call Henry, I know he's in charge of transcription at this company, and I'm going to tell him you would be an asset. There you go. That's when you would use a referral cover letter, letting them know who matched you up or who referred you. Then there's a job match or T cover letter, used to match the specific job requirements one-to-one with your qualifications. If it says you need 10 years experience, and I bring 12 years experience, that's when you match the job. You can learn about the requirements from job ads, position descriptions, phone conversations, and career research. Who knew there were so many kinds of cover letters? Now to the resume. This is where you're going to let them know what skills you have, what education you have, and what experience you bring to the job. And remember, when you are taking our course, once you graduate, that is equal to 1 year medical transcription on the job experience. After all, look how many reports you will transcribe. And in case you're wondering what that number is, it's close to 1,000 reports. So if you feel like you've typed 1,000 reports, it's true, because you have. Okay, I have to scooch this over. Highlight your best points with these resume writing methods. Here are 4 strategies that will get your resume noticed. Sell yourself and your brand. Your brand, Wendy says, can you go over later how it works if you're applying for a position that is out of town? Let me see, hold on. Do you do it over the web, the interview? Well, I'm glad you asked, Wendy. I can go over it now. It will be based on them. They may say time for a call. I applied for Nuance. I work for them, and they just did the interview over the phone. They told me what time they would be calling me, and I was there. It's sort of like what we do here when we interview you after career development. So that's just perfect. That's how they'll do it. My son-in-law had an interview here, and he was in the next room, and he was on the computer talking with someone, and we didn't have a camera on that computer. So I'm not sure if maybe they went to a website, but I don't think so. So I'm pretty sure it would just be over the phone. Does that help answer your question? Some people might use cameras. It depends. Not every student has a camera. I don't know who was on here. Came in here last week and I saw somebody had their camera on. Believe me, I have sticky note paper over my camera. I don't want anybody being surprised. Thanks for your question. Okay, sell yourself and your brand. Your brand is a shorthand description of what you bring to a team or to the table for projects. Identify your transferable skills. An important part of what makes you valuable to an employer is your skill set. Transferable skills make you an attractive candidate. So your brand can be your expertise, your researching, your QA scores. Your transferable skills will be the fact that you can do ESL, that you've done acute care and clinic notes, all of those things that go under that skills section. Highlight your accomplishments. Employers want to know what you bring to their company, how you can help them. So if you've received a certificate in this or that, or you graduated with honors, be sure you put that in there. Use keywords effectively. Employers are looking for the keywords that match what is included in their job description. Use the employer's language to describe your skills. Tailor your resume to the job. If they say they want a dynamic blah, 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 you can say that you are a dynamic blah, blah, blah. Remember to be creative. The recruiter who is handling the resumes has a pile of resumes a mile high. Your resume needs to be simple. If they have to search through a bunch of text, a bunch of paragraphs, and wordy information to find pertinent information, they will file your resume all right in the circular bin. Now, our manager, Deb, says she used to be the person that will go through these things. I think it was at a previous job. And if she didn't find what she needed right away in the resume, within a minute of looking at it, she threw it away. So that's why we try to stop you from being too wordy, but make sure your skills are, succinct and available quickly to the eye. This is serious business. You may want to avoid overly creative or flashy headers on your resume. I've had people send in resume with purple, bright green. You might want to just keep it serious and professional looking. They will take less than 1 minute reviewing your information. You need to grab them with your career objective, which could be a full-time medical transcription position, a part-time independent contractor position, whatever you put up there. You need to grab them with that objective and your skills and your MT education and experience. Beginning work on the resume. Understanding the basic elements, select the right resume format, write a first draft, edit and proofread, and design for easy reading. Main headings should include career objective, which is what do you want now. For your skills, these are all under the basics. You want to be specific. I have experience in Microsoft Word, Office, and Outlook. Not just experience with computers. I can work on a computer. No. Be specific. Remember your keywords. Education. Put your degrees and certificates. Put the most recent first. When you graduate from CanScribe, you will have a certificate in medical transcription healthcare documentation. You're not going to be certified. That's after 2 years of work on the job and you take this horrible test, scary, serious test that you have to go sit for. So remember, you will have a certificate. Education, degrees and certificates. The most recent first, as I mentioned, your previous work experience. A lot of people think, oh no. But just think about it. If you've worked with customer service, if you've done a job, even if it was in retail, but you used computers, if you had to make schedules for people, a lot of this will work. You can put those jobs down. Stick with what is pertinent. Anytime you use computers, have done transcription, proved to be self-motivated, oh my, what a typo there, I apologize. Demonstrated organizational skills and honed your research skills. And then you can put references available upon request. And if you do have achievements you would like to brag about, be sure to put them there. Skills. Here are some of the skills. You've got experience with the AHDI Book of Style. You're versed in the use of account specifics. If you have three different accounts, you might have 3 different sets of account specifics when you get to the MT world. You maintained excellent QA scores of 99%. That seems big now, but you know, as you get toward the end of the course, I'm sure they will be improving. You're proficient with Microsoft Word. You're accomplished with ESL dictation, which means English Second Language speakers. So they may have an accent, they may say things differently, pronounce things differently. If you have an ear for that, many employers are very happy. You have extensive speech recognition editing experience. You will get that with some reports throughout the course in DictoScribe, and you will have that in MDAT. Demonstrated strong research skills. You're a member of AHDI, the Association for Healthcare Documentation Integrity. The right format. So you've got the chronological format, which highlights your employment history. So if you're a seasoned MT and you've been about, doing this before, and you might be just brushing up here at CanScribe now, you can use that format. This format can work if you have a solid work history in a particular job or career and you're planning on looking for a similar position. A functional format highlights your skills. This is pretty much what you all would be doing if you're in the course now. Use this format to show what you know how to do. Even if it's not directly related to your work history, it's the best choice if you're changing careers or starting out. The best resumes are usually a combination of these formats. You can communicate your strongest qualifications while providing employers with your employment history. Your first draft, practice makes perfect. Create a dry run of your resume. Use your computer. You can handwrite it if you prefer. Put pen or pencil to paper. Make an outline. Use concise words. Don't sell yourself short. Do not leave any skill out. That's what I tell people when you're doing the skill section, and if the person interviewing you wants to know what you can do, what are your experiences with transcription, you've got almost a whole year of that by the time you get to the career development interview. So think what you've done. Think of the software platforms you've worked on, MDAT, DictoScribe, Fluency, and the Practicum. Make an outline. Think of what you do on a daily basis when you sit down to transcribe your reports in the course. You're putting on that headset. You need to put blanks when you don't understand something, and then you need to research. Think of what your strengths are. Think of the type of reports you've done. And then as you make this outline and go over it a few times, you might see if you've left anything out. Use strong verbs. There's a thing called resume verbs on Google, and there you can find more strong verbs to improve your resume content. I transformed the department I worked in by implementing whatever. I coached other students. I implemented new ways of doing things. You can see established, achieved, developed, effected, transformed, validated. They're all very good. Edit and proofread. My resume sells me, my accomplishments, and my brand. Readers know what I offer. The top half of my resume includes my strengths and my experience. I have researched my job target the employer's requirements, and my own qualifications, and my resume reflects all three of these. My resume is written in concise, resume-appropriate language, not full sentences. I have used specific keywords rather than terms like good computer skills. There is plenty of white space. The resume is easy to scan and text is not too busy for the reader. So if your instinct is to put your skills in a paragraph form, separated with commas and in sentence format, do you think that's easy to read? You want it to jump out. So if you use bullet points, or you don't even have to use bullet points, just put each skill on its own line. I have used headings and bullets. I have presented the content and information logically and effectively. And spacing between sections and under headings is consistent. That's what you want to check for when you're editing and proofreading your resume. Now here is a sample of a resume. This is the header I was talking about, Heidi Peterson up there. I made this all up. That's a header. Now you can use the same thing on your cover letter, and then you would just start on the cover letter with date and then the employer stacked information. But this person, she's got her professional summary at the top, exceptionally reliable and painstaking medical transcription editor with extraordinary attention to detail. See, extraordinary. Boy, there is a strong word for you. Able to handle extremely high work volume with sustained focus. Good interpersonal and communication skills. But this can also go under her skills section, but I don't see that here. Well, her core qualifications: extensive medical transcription experience, superior facility in interpreting and transcribing a wide array, and so on. What she doesn't have here is a career objective, and if I was editing this, I would tell her to put a career objective at the top so we see what she's looking for. Her experience as a medical transcription editor from 2010 to the present and where she's worked, and then it tells what she's done. And then her education. Okay, here's another person. Now she has done her headings different. She's got her career objective up there, centered, beautiful, to secure part-time employment as a medical transcriptionist. The summary of her skills. Now I'm not saying you have to do these types of headings. This just gives you an idea of different ways they can look. Her summary of skills includes medical terminology, medical research, transcribed nearly 1,000 reports, works independently, proofreading and editing knowledge. Now you can see that some of those could be spiced up maybe by special strong resume words and verbs. Her summary of achievements include healthcare documentation specialist, honors graduate from somewhere, medical office assistant with veterinary assistant specialty, and then professional experience and references available upon request. Feedback. After you edit your resume, ask someone with work experience you trust to read and comment on it. Does your resume do a good job of selling your qualifications for the job target you are after? Is it easy to read and understand? Proofread. Proofread for the obvious before doing a deeper proof. Typos, punctuation, numbering, and headings are some of the areas in which a quick proof will work. Anything out of the ordinary should stand out from the surrounding text and be edited before submission. This is no place for misspelled words. This is no place for grammar errors. This is no place for mispunctuation. Now, once we've done all that, we come to the interview stage. Interviewing. Often, no matter what we do, we cannot help but be nervous for an interview. Try these tips and tricks. Take a deep breath. All that oxygen in your lungs will help relieve you. Remember, you do have some power here. They're interviewing you, so they must be interested. Stand up during your phone interview. It may make you feel better. Take your time answering questions. You have the right, it won't sound bad if you pause or if you ask them to repeat a question. And sometimes a short answer is good enough. You don't have to keep saying, and I this and I that, because you might end up with and not have anywhere to go. So remember, sometimes a short answer is okay. Have your resume handy so you can refer to what you know how to do in case you forgot something. This is where we want you to polish your MT skills star. Sometimes a short answer is best. Do not embellish or you may run out of answers. An interview is your opportunity to learn more about an employer and the available job. The job description, the organization website, annual business reports, a school placement office, local and state employment service offices, professional organization, and current employees. Those are other ways you can learn about the place you're doing an interview. And then you may feel more comfortable going into the interview because you know something about the company where you're going to have this interview or for whom you're having the interview. Don't panic. Here's your phone interview. Just prepare. An interview is a two-way process. Be there and on time when the call comes in. Speak confidently. You know you can fool anybody on the phone. If your voice has a lilt in it and you sound not hesitant but, pretty confident, it will make all the difference. They have no idea if you're sweating bullets over there. Use the person's name when you speak to them. If you think you might forget it, be sure you write it down. For instance, I am Andrea, which some people confuse with Audrey, and same vice versa. We laugh about that. Smile when you're talking. It will reflect in your voice. Don't interrupt the interviewer. And if you find that you do so accidentally or you have a connection issue or you can't see their body language, apologize and let them continue. Avoid slang or speaking too casually. Ensure that the location chosen to take the call is free of noise and interruptions, and, again, apologize if there is an interruption of any kind. The phone interview here should be taken seriously, so if you have adorable little ones at your feet, you might want to have a babysitter when that time comes. In the interview, someone might say, tell me about yourself. What is your overall understanding of an MT's job? Remember, audio files dictated by a healthcare professional. You want to be accurate. These are confidential reports. Productivity is important. There are deadlines and account specifics to follow. I also talk about TAT, Thomas Andrew Thomas, or turnaround time. That's called TAT, T-A-T, TAT. And that is the time from when a report is dictated to when it is due back at the facility. Now, an interviewer might ask you, do you have a problem keeping in TAT? And you're going to go, what is that? So it has to do with meeting the deadlines and getting the job done when it needs to be back to the facility. Some other things they may ask you is, why did you choose this career? What are you looking for from an MT position? Why do you want to work for us? How do you think your skill set fits in with the position you're applying for? What can you do for us that someone else can't? Talk about your MT training, your past MT experiences, how you excel in one of those key words. Then they'll ask you about maybe what are your 3 strengths, your 3 weaknesses, how do you describe your computer skills, what report types do you have experience in, and what is your favorite specialty? Do you have any questions for me? That's what the interviewer might ask you at the end. Remember, if you do have a favorite, often you'll be strong in that favorite. Let's say you love cardiology or you love to type operative reports or surgical notes. Let them know. You just might get lucky enough to find an account to work on that lets you do what you like. Your answer should reflect the following: your strengths, your willingness to work and flexibility, leadership skills, your ability and willingness to learn new things, contributions to the organizations in which you have worked or volunteered, creativity in solving problems and working with people. How will you receive feedback? These are things you can ask the employer. How is production calculated? Remember the verifiability they need to let you know, and you have the right to ask. How long is the probationary period? What is expected from the QA percentage? Is there room for advancement in this company? What is the most important attribute they are looking for in an MT? What are the day-to-day responsibilities of this job? How will my responsibilities and performance be measured, and by whom? What computer equipment and software do you use? And what is the organization's plan for the next 5 years? A lot of times an employer will be impressed if you have a good question to ask them that shows that you've thought about working for them and their organization. Prepare your questions ahead of time. This shows you are interested in the company and how they operate. You will portray yourself to be a serious candidate for the position by showing you have reflected on how things work at their organization. This will be appreciated by the interviewer. Thank you. Saying thank you is an effective job search strategy. A thank you note is another opportunity to leave a positive impression on the employer. Send a thank you note or email to the employers, employment contacts, and references whenever they have helped you. You should always send a thank you note after each job interview. You should send a thank you note after an informal, informational interview to the person who gives you a referral or information, or whenever someone takes time out of their schedule for you. An email thank you note works just fine. I always say if it comes down to two candidates and they're exactly the same and one of them send me a thank you, who do you think I'm going to pick? What to say? In your thank you note, show your appreciation for the opportunity of the interview, express your continued interest in the job, restate your skills briefly. If you forgot to mention something in your background, do so now. Mention that you're looking forward to the follow-up for this opportunity. Write your thank you note no later than 24 hours after the interview, even if it didn't go well. Be brief, but include the information noted above. When you get your job offer, take time to think through what's important. It's acceptable for you to request at least 24 hours to consider the position. Express your appreciation and strong interest in the job. Even if you're pretty sure you're going to say yes, ask any immediate questions that you have. You have the right. You don't have to answer them right now. 2 offers at once? Don't feel guilty. Be happy. Be selfish. Do what is the best for you. Weigh the pros and cons of each position and be your own best advocate. Celebrate. You have a job. You've entered the medical transcription workforce, and remember, do what is best for you always. I want to thank you for joining me today. And if anybody has any questions, you can put them in the chat window. Let me make sure that's my last slide. It is. So I hope this helped. Anybody have any questions? I'll look into the chat box. You're welcome, Kina. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Oh, thank you, Lori. This, of course, will be recorded. If there's anything you needed to get off the slides and you wanted to look through later on, like tips and tricks or any information, I'm very glad this helped. You're very welcome. You guys all have a great evening, too. Thanks, Wendy. You're welcome, Lisa. Sumaya, Dayton. Oh, Dayton, that's pretty funny. Oh, good job. They won't know what to do if you pass your first submission of your cover letter and resume. They'll be tickled pink. You're welcome, Tamer. How soon after graduation do most CanScribe graduates get a job? Well, I know they look, most of them look right away, and each person is an individual. So some have looked longer. You will have, you will have pre-employment tests to take, and if you go to the AHDI, they have some pre-employment practice tests that will help you, and that will help it speed up. Jonathan, how do QA scores typically work? How do they vary between company? I don't know. I know, Jonathan, that they want 98 to 99% quality on reports. And once you pass that, they will let you submit straight to the client. And then they may do audits, occasionally to make sure you don't fall off the bus, so to speak. And some companies will deduct from your pay, so you need to ask these types of questions in the interview. If something happens and you have a bad report, how does that affect your paycheck? They could deduct so many amount of cents per line if there is, if there's errors. Lori, great. Jonathan? I don't know what that means, but anyway, so yeah, you want to ask, and that's why I like to tell people you have the right to ask questions as well. Because you may be expecting a certain paycheck, and if you had a low QA score, they could deduct you, and this may go on for a while until you prove yourself back. Oh, she liked the question. Thanks, Jonathan. Do you guys know each other? Oh, my gosh. Not yet? Oh, my. That's funny. Now we do. Good going, you two. But yes, so that disclosure, that's why I like to tell people you have the right to know, especially when it comes to your paycheck. All right, well, it looks like I'm seeing that it's 1 minute before the hour. I don't know if that's the correct time, so I'm probably going to end this session. It was lovely meeting you all. And remember, the instructors are here with any questions you might have. And I wish you happy holidays. You're welcome, Jonathan. You too, Dayton. Thank you. I'm gonna log out now. Take care.